Welcome to the second episode of Staging the City. My name is Larissa Kocic. I am the founder of Living Edge Staging, where we help our clients maximize property value through professional staging. On today's episode, we have three guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with Len.
Hi, so my name is Lan Boone. I'm the investor at this property.
Hi, my name is Javier Luna. I am the owner of Luna Homes Northwest, and I'm the builder.
Hi, I'm Rob Apostle, listing broker for Blue Summit Realty.
Thank you all so much for accepting my invitation. It was a great pleasure to stage a beautiful property like this, and I'm so happy you chose to work with me as your stager.
Thank you for having us here. We're so happy to be here today.
Definitely a pleasure.
Amazing. Did amazing work. I'm glad we got to meet you.
Thank you so much. Let's dive into our questions. Len, this was a big project for you. What was your vision originally, and how did you want buyers to feel when they entered this home?
Yeah, so this is a pretty big project, especially being my very first ground up project. The original plan still stays the same. Our vision having, once it's fully built and staged, we want the buyers to come in and feel very comfortable with the vibrant natural lighting, and want to connect the buyers to the city just because we have a full-on view on every level. So we want to make sure that we capture that because we want them to feel they're at home and welcome. So that's still the vision.
Thank you. I hope I was able to highlight those features with the staging.
Yes, we did see that throughout your staging where everything was very simple, but yet brought out the elegance of the home. And, all the natural lighting came in and the color schemes that you used were perfect.
Thank you.
No, as Lon was saying, is that you captured the way you staged each piece of furniture. The main focal point was not just the open concept, the sleek design, the modern, but is focusing on our city skyline, how beautiful, wonderful Seattle is. And you don't have to be in downtown. You can be on the west side. And there's so many amenities that this property can give you of just the straight location.
Thank you, Robert. I definitely tried to focus on that view and give it as much attention as possible from a stager and a buyer's perspective.
Wonderful. You did amazing.
And I feel like the master bedroom, you did really good. Very simple, but very classy. You focused on the views again, because that's what we're trying to connect the buyers in with the city. So like you're naturally, like what Rob was saying, we don't have to be in like downtown to see downtown. We can just be on each floor and still capture that view. And where you place the bed is really good because you can wake up and feel like you're on vacation. You're like looking at this view, like you just open the blinds and you're like, whoa, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What I like most about, when I walk in here is that you didn't take away from the actual structure of the house. You just enhance it. It's almost like you're part of the team.
Thank you.
You accentuated the layout.
Yeah, sometimes we have multiple options, but definitely trying to take advantage of the view as much as possible.
Yeah, especially with the lighting or the actual windows. So you give enough for somebody else to come and make it their home. Like they could look and see,
Have that emotional connection going off of your staging.
Great job.
Thank you. Very happy to hear. Now that we're sitting in the staged house, do you think staging was worth it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. For me personally, I used to think that I like coming into like an empty house, then I can envision what I'm going to put in. But once I've seen your staging work and, other companies stage a complete home, it makes me feel when I walk in more complete, more cozy. And sometimes I don't have an idea or I'm not as creative. And so certain things that stagers put in, like yourself, I'm like, dude, I didn't even know that could be there and it looks so nice. So it also enhances my creativity and brings out other ideas that I have that I could potentially put into a space that I didn't know could be that space. So yeah, definitely worth it.
Yeah, I think that when you bring another person, an outside body to come in and bring their creativeness, which you did amazingly, it makes staging and just buyers just visualize a better visual, I should say, but also add to it from what you've done. When I first saw this, before staging, I was like, where's the dining room table going to go? Where's the coffee table go? Where's the couch going to go? Would I put a sectional there? Where? But the way you properly lined every single furniture again was amazing. And it's again capturing the city skyline of Seattle.
I remember we first started off just the floor plan before me seeing the space or the finishes or anything else. And I had the same dilemma, but I knew that there would have to be a dining area somewhere in that mix.
Yeah, and perfect spot location for it.
Thank you.
The one thing I like is the color scheme that you chose. It's very complementary to the structure and to the home itself. So I think it's very elegant.
The finishes were very nice to begin with. It's rare that we come across new builds with such quality kitchens and all the cabinetry picks.
Len gets all the credit, of course. But
I picked it all out. I wanted to keep it thinking about like my buyers in this area and Seattle in general. And having all the natural lighting, I wanted something more neutral so then it kind of fit the mass majority of people. And then they can bring their own personality in addition to what is already here.
Those were some really great choices. And I like how you explained them based on not just looks, but also functionality.
Like some of the stuff we picked in the bathroom, we kept it very neutral. That way people can bring in their ideas. Like buyers can bring in what they love and add color to it. If I was to pick up something that had a bunch of color, it would be really difficult. So I'd like to keep things very neutral for the mass majority of, buyers.
I'm sure your buyers appreciate that.
Thank you.
what they're gonna appreciate the most is obviously the view. And I specialize mostly in difficult developments, site developments like this that are pretty much sensitive areas or whatever. So anything to catch that view. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work with the cities and whatnot. But I really believe that anybody who buys this house is going to appreciate it. And
What was unique about this site?
well, number one is it is a sensitive area based on what the city deems as sensitive. But the hillside, and we built it in the hill, so it's basically like carving into the hillside to be able to put the structure in it. And obviously to have the foresight that once you build the structure on each level to capture that view, it takes a lot of work with engineers and architects and people like her that has the vision. So, I'm very
Wonderful.
grateful for the enhancement of what you've done in the finish aspect of it. I really believe that it's going to sell.
Like just brought more character into it.
Javier mentioned that this was a very difficult site to build and that he specializes in difficult constructions. So, Lan, what was so complicated about this project?
This project was more on the difficult end because of the location. I mean, we have a beautiful view and it's on the hillside. In order to get this kind of beautiful view, the elevations have to be a little bit higher. And so the build here was very difficult. Just the space that it's on like a hill. Like when you're driving up, it's on a hill. There's certain areas that, city restricts you from touching and stuff like that. So this being difficult it enhances me and gives me other like a learning opportunity for our next build. Like if a city tells you no, you're gonna just keep pushing for that. Why is it a no? What can we do? Is there alternative? Are there any exemptions to that? So you want to keep asking all those questions and then be able to provide that to the city before you get the straight no. So don't take no as an answer, even regardless of how difficult it may be. Just ask questions and then city will eventually provide you or will navigate you in the right direction to get what you need to be able to complete it.
Well, I believe experience comes in play. If you have done it, then obviously it can be done, and you have to have the right team involved with the structural engineers or the geotechs and whatnot, and how to be able to do it. So you have to have that backing, but you have to have the experience and the fortitude to get the job done. When I say difficult, it's not just on the component from the city, but it's the neighbors. It's a one way, pretty much up and down. It's a very narrow road to get up here. The sidewalk only on one side. So traffic is a nightmare. Staging to be able to When I mean staging, I'm talking about materials, to bring in materials and be able to do the work. It's very difficult. Not impossible, but it was difficult. And, I tack it on and get it done, though. But definitely a well-deserved experience based on the view that we capture once we're done. So.
Congratulations on powering through all that. It turned out amazing.
Adding on to what Lon was saying is when you ask questions, whether it's the city, building department, architect, or engineer, where they kind of tell you the no's.
Give you the pushback.
But if you keep asking questions, they're gonna find a way to help you in some way or how to get what you want.
So the more you're showing your passion and your interest in a project, the more willing they are to cooperate and
Cooperate,
be
and they're gonna,
supportive.
yes, exactly.
I personally think that, since COVID, a lot of people have been doing a lot of work from home. So coming to the site and visualizing what could be done differently, that what's the normal for the city, I think that's also something that's been challenging because everybody's still working from home. And instead of coming to the site, it makes things go a lot easier, the understanding, or getting the job done. So
Kind of
it's also-
piggybacking off of what Javier was saying is that sometimes when you look at a plan on paper and you actually go on site, it's like two different things. So we have other projects that we're working on that we're in the same boat where plans look completely perfect, but when you go on site, it's something else that's different, and you kind of have to adapt to those challenges and figure out how to maneuver and get it right.
Much more constraints in real life than on paper.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. How did you get into your staging career, and what inspired you? And what kind of style did you pick, or did the style pick you?
The style picks me at every single project because I just treat them as such a unique piece. I treat them as a portfolio piece. So each one gets the best of me, but it's led by the character of the home, what's going on in the property, not necessarily my idea of what's the best design in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And how I got into it is a pretty long story. I'll give you the short version. So I got into staging starting in 2022, but my original background was in architecture. I only worked in software engineering after I relocated to the US, but soon I started missing the creativity of design work. So I decided that I need to get back into designing something. I didn't know what,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew that that's what I wanted. And at the end of that sabbatical, I knew that I would start my own staging company.
My question is, I know since we were talking about how are you and how quick
You came.
you came up with the idea, like, oh, do you have this in the garage, or because everything looks like it belongs here. So, how that process?
Yeah, kind of like when
You
you
come
came
by
in
yourself?
here, how did you come up with the idea of like what you wanted to stage in here? Like furniture pieces and color schemes, like was it just like your instinct, like you came in here and you're like,
Oh, did you buy everything? Just wanna know.
This was too short notice for that.
Yes,
There was
it was
no
2
time
days.
for shopping.
It's 2
Yeah.
days. So I'm assuming you came here, you walk up, you walked all your floors, and I'm assuming you went back and you had the plans that we sent Rob, and with the plans you was able to. I just want to know the process.
The plan was the first step. So I received the plan from Robert even before I was hired for the job. I took a look at that. That was actually what my quote was based on.
So I'm giving you a little more credit. than you
Quite
deserve.
unusual. But yeah, so I got the plan, and well, the first thing I noticed is that we do have this big open space with just counter seating, which is the very modern way of entertaining. Not all properties have a designated dining area nowadays, but this space with a view focused on this corner of the space, and then because of the shape of it, it's not a perfect square. It's more like two overlapping squares or rectangles, pointed me into how could I use a dining area to separate our walkway from our living room and from the kitchen. And once those were conceptually divided into designated areas for each use, then I played with just the living room. How do we stage a living room? Well, I want the view to be the focal point, and that's what the main piece of furniture would be facing. And that way you could sit on the couch, look out the window, you could sit at the counter and look out the window from anywhere. In however way you'd be using this open space at the given time, the view would have your attention.
So what I'm asking, is this your style? Or
Yes.
do you have multiple styles and the house demands that? That's the question I'm trying to get.
Definitely multiple styles, but generally, and especially for the modern and new constructions, we start off with a light and neutral base. That's our go-to because it gives you this feel of a more elevated design, and it looks more fresh. With lots of white, but in order to make the white and the light colors pop and shine, you need to add some contrast. And it helped that there were already finishes here that mixed light wood with black. So I was able to leverage that and mix in some of those colors throughout my staging as well.
Oh, you definitely hire when I'm done with my house.
I would love to.
To my house very soon. And,
Looking forward to see that.
No, you definitely brought character in here. Really liked it.
Thank you.
So as an experienced stager and with your level of background in creativity and art, what would be like your one piece of advice you would give like someone starting out or wanting to start out a staging company?
Unless you're working with just one niche of clients, you'd have to be ready for a variety of styles. You'd be in the need to elevate not just the sleek, modern, new constructions that are everyone's favorites, but a house from the 90s, a house from the 60s, and so on. And I generally tend to blend in modern wherever I can, but you can't force that onto a house that has an historic character or just more dated elements, because it will make it look awkward. It will just point out how dated certain things are. So you want to embrace them instead of trying to fight them.
Okay.
Are you ever thinking about offering other services, for example, interior design?
We do in theory offer interior design as a service, but staging keeps us too busy at the time. And realistically speaking, those deadlines for a design project are very hard to meet because design and staging happen at very different paces. Staging is very fast paced. You have 24 hours in most cases to complete one house and have it ready for the pictures. Maybe not so much the case with new constructions, but when it's a resale, those people need to move really fast because somebody is leaving the property and maybe sometimes even just staying in an Airbnb for the shortest amount of time possible and then hoping to move back before they vacate. But yeah, design would take longer than that. So overlapping these two timelines, it gets very complicated.
If we happen to get someone that likes the property and likes the furniture that's inside of it, have you ever, sold the furniture and even your own ideas for future things in the house? Is that something you're also interested in?
Yes, and we've done that. Sometimes we have interested buyers reaching out directly to buy the house with the furniture. Obviously, sourcing staging inventory is not very easy and it takes time. So selling it is not always an option that I get too excited about, but I'm open to it, especially before the slow season. So we rotate our inventory. Sometimes we have warehouse sales and make room for fresh inventory, new items to follow the trend. But let's say November is always a time that I would consider an offer like that. And I would get excited about selling the furniture to the buyer.
Okay.
What we have here is a very well-rounded team, and I'm so curious about how you guys found each other and how were you able to identify the right skills and the right person for them?
So I was in corporate previously before, and I wanted to venture out and started doing real estate. I have a lot of friends that do real estate, and I thought it'd be interesting to venture out and look for something in real estate to do. And what I look for in a partner is that someone who will listen. And so that's the kind of partners that I need. Is like, I'm afraid to say something sometimes to an architect because I think they're always right, maybe, versus him. He's like, no, this is not right because I've done this before. I got it before. And this is why I can tell you that I can get the yes answer for you and he'll prove it to me.
Yeah.
So that's very important in a partner where their action also speaks, not just their words. Like he can say something, but not really do it. But I've seen in other projects that we have together that we're doing now. And also having the right lender was really helpful. Just the communication between the lender and the person working for you in there is really critical because as a first-time investor, there's so many questions that I have that I can call and text and they'll answer right away. I don't even know how to word it sometime, and Rob can just like, oh, this is what you meant. So.
But they all speak Spanglish, so they all understand me. So what you see here, for me, is a very, very diverse, like the true heart of Washington. Like everybody here represents a different part of the world, but we can all come together for the benefit of projects and the benefit of one another. And, Rob is giving me like a lot of help with multiple projects of mine, and he's very knowledgeable about the market. I listen to him about 85%. The 15%, it's fun to have a chance to rub it in my face. I didn't listen. But I really believe that we have a really good dynamics. Speaking about Lane, her husband Kevin, and her beautiful daughter Chloe, they're like family to me now. It's just we have this short period of time we've been working together. But
just picking the right partner, like sometimes you can joke with throughout the day. Like we're always throwing jokes at each other and we don't get offended. Like that kind of work environment really boosts up your mentality. He always calls me negative because sometimes I'm just like, dude, we need to do this. We need to do this, and I'm more like very conservative. And so he's on the other side, like, stop being so negative. And so he brings me back and like reinforces me about like, this can go down this way, so he gives me that like positivity that I need when I'm thinking so negative because something that just happened, I'm panicking over it, and so having that reinforcement
works because her husband always
he's a listener.
agrees with me, so it works.
Yeah,
it's amazing that you guys can complement each other so well and build this support system for each other from scratch.
Absolutely.
So hearing about the dynamics between all of you and this relationship and friendships you've built along the way, what was first or what is more important to you, the relationship or the money side?
That's a great question. It first starts out with when I'm being introduced to a new investor or builder, anything like that. It all starts out of gaining that trust, and it's me bringing out those numbers to make sure it's in that it's comfortable for both the investor, builder, and also the lender. You build a trust, that foundation, then you build the relationship, and then the trust is there. And at the same time, the lender is feeling the same way. So it's not just the numbers, the relationship and the track record starts impacting in.
Mm-hmm. So they build organically and then they feed back into the relationship you built on the money or the value you're able to add.
Yes, definitely value add.
Yes, for staging, it's the same way. It's all about elevating the client, not just the property. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, staging is marketing, not just making the house look pretty, but also being able to attract higher offers faster and ultimately adding more value to that customer.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you all so much for being here today. It was interesting to see this group for the first time in person because we've never really met. And it was great hearing your stories. I hope that we'll hear more from you and hopefully we'll work together again.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah,
It was
thank you so
exciting,
much.
nervous at the same time. This is
Very
my
nervous.
first time on podcast, so I didn't know what to expect, but it went well. It's a learning curve, and I really enjoyed the experience. And hopefully, be on your next podcast again.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate the time as well.
Thank you so much for joining and thanks everyone for following along.